Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass. I'm your host, Sam, from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
And I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
Yes, you are. Each week we get together, we talk about cars, motorsport, F1, what else? Cars? We talk about cars. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on youtube.com/Behind the Glass. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And Tony, if people want to support this podcast, what should they do?
Watch it.
No. But also head to Patreon. You can support us on patreon.com/Behind the Glass. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode. It's been a while since we last did a Rate My Rides or Rate Your Rides, one of the, I guess, most popular formats of our show.
Yeah.
When I don't really understand why you lot send in photos of your cars and basically beg for Tony just to absolutely rip them apart.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this off air saying, why'd you do it, people? Why'd you put yourselves through this?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why they put that, because they know that I am only having them on, by the way. Well, no, I am being quite serious most of the time, but what I mean is that it is in jest. You know what I mean?
I hope people realise that, because if they didn't, I think they would be quite upset. If you are new to this podcast, if it's the first time you've heard a Rate My Rides, Rate Your Rides episode, essentially, as I just mentioned, we ask the audience to send in photos and details of their car, and we just react to them, essentially. I kind of know what's coming up, because, well, I think we had over 500 cars submitted for this episode.
It's always popular when we do this, isn't it?
We just simply cannot go through 500 cars. It would be a 10-hour episode.
Yeah.
So I've got to whittle it down. So I do kind of know the cars that are coming up. Tony has no clue.
No.
He literally has not seen any of them.
Nothing.
So it's always a surprise for him. But yeah, we try and give a kind of honest and raw reaction. You know what's been surprising this week, though, or for this episode, is how many supercars were submitted.
Good.
Usually we've got a big variety. Long-term listeners will know there's a bit of a joke that most of the audience seem to either own Cayman GT4s or M2s. That's changed to, can I just say, E92 M3s. Oh my God, there were like 100 E92 M3s submitted. And supercars, there have been, so it's quite a supercar themed episode, which
good.
That's fine, it's good for you. I have included a few of the other bits because there were lots of other bits. And yeah, if we don't include your car, I'm sorry. As I say, there were just so many submitted. We will do another one of these. We try and do them, every 3 to 6 months, I guess?
I think so, yeah. We do 2 or 3 a year, don't we?
Exactly. They're always fun. And we also do them when we do our live shows, which I think by this point will be sold out. I say I think because we're actually recording this a few weeks ahead of it going live, because I'm currently on a bit of a road trip. And as of the day of recording, there's only like a handful of tickets left anyway. So anyway, I guess we just launch straight into it, shall we?
I mean, we're 3 minutes in now.
Good luck, everyone, is all I can say. We're going to kick things off with Andrew, who has submitted his car from New Zealand. Check it out. A 1999 Honda Integra.
I like that.
Type R. I like that too.
I like that, yeah.
I like that it's come from New Zealand because, well, just showing the breadth of our listener base.
I like its right-hand drive.
Right-hand drive, there you go, because Tony inherently just hates all left-hand drive cars. Apologies for basically the majority of our non-English audience.
Majority of the world.
But I kind of like any Type R product, I have to say. Integra's pretty cool. Is that the one with the round headlights? I can't see.
Not sure. The only problem with that car that I have is that it could not pull skin off a rice pudding. It is dog SHIT slow.
But is it not about the feeling, the balance, the handling?
And I'll tell you another problem with it as well.
I was trying to help you, Andrew. I'm sorry.
That engine, as good as it is, it just makes a noise. It doesn't go anywhere. You put your foot down, it just goes, and the car's still there. It's a bit like your 360.
You were going to say that. I was literally waiting for you to start talking, and I was going to say, like my 360 then. You are so predictable. Well, as a man who owns a car that makes a lot of noise and doesn't go anywhere that fast, Andrew, I appreciate this. And as I say, I mean, you sent it all the way from the other side of the world. And there's an amazing car community in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Incredibly passionate petrol heads. I can't wait to get back down there. And so I know that, this car would be appreciated by local members.
Why has it got 4 doors, that car? And they're normally a 3-door.
I think they're normally a 3-door. Maybe that was a four-door variant.
Cut and shut, that one.
I wish we knew more about this type of car.
So does Andrew. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, Andrew. Let's move on. Next up, Anton has submitted, I think, quite a rare car. It's a 2022 Audi RS5. Who orders brand new RS5s these days?
Well, in this country, quite a lot.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's a rare car, a brand new RS5. I feel like it gets overlooked because at a time, definitely in the V8 era, RS5s, I think they served a purpose. They were an attractive proposition against an M3 or a C63. But these days, I feel like it falls quite far behind. And dare I say, are there even Jag V6 F-types from used cars? What's new? They're probably a bit too expensive. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that's necessarily as attractive as it once was. And so I think it's quite rare.
So I would agree with you in terms of, I think that people would buy an M4 or a C63 over that car, for sure. But it's still a good car, mate.
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
I think probably in this country, at the moment, there's more sportbacks, like the four-door ones knocking about, RS5 sportbacks. Seems to be a few of them. Less coupes.
Yeah.
But they are a lot of money.
Well, I remember, was it this shape or the one just before that Paul took to Goodwood and it was like 90 grand?
Yeah. I mean, that shape will be the same. If you get a fully spec one with everything on them, they'll be 90 grand.
That's a US car. So, Anton, let us know. I reckon that's like $115,000, $120,000 car.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It looks great, though. Nice
spec. You get a
spec.
Porsche for that money. That's the problem. You get a Porsche nearly for that money.
You could get a Porsche.
Yeah.
I saw somebody, sorry, I've got distracted. It's the usual format for this podcast. Had a really nice 992 Carrera S. Looked real base spec, but it was paint to sample, so a quirky colour and a custom interior. Manual gear. Oh, I saw it on Instagram the other day. I thought, that's a nice. And it inherently made me want to go out and do that thing of buying like a cheap 992, 911. I need to wait for that Carrera T to come along, don't I?
You do, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Anton, very cool for submitting. Thank you very much. Aris, I'm not going to try and pronounce your surname. And I'm also not, by the way, pronouncing surnames because I don't know what people want to do about privacy. People submit their cars and I kind of shout out their names. And I'm like, oh, maybe they didn't want their names associated with these cars. I don't know. So I'm just going with Aris. Now, this, again, I'm going to say is rare, or maybe you just don't see too many of them, but I think maybe a cool proposition. It's a Mercedes SLK 55 AMG.
So that's like...
Pocket rocket.
Yeah. A very... pointless car.
Oh, hold on. Oh,
no, it's pointless, but it's cool in its own right because there's nothing else like it.
Why is it pointless?
Oh, because it's like stupid.
Was that the V6 or the V8?
That'd be a V8.
It was a V8?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Come on. How's that pointless? Amazing.
Well, it's cool. It's pointless.
That tiny little car?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the problem is, mate, I'll tell you the problem with that car is, it's a hairdresser's car with a V8 in it. So... the majority of people that buy that car are women. So if you want the V8, you're a man. And I wouldn't want to be seen dead in that car. Do you know what I mean?
I test drove an SLK years ago before I bought my 330i saloon.
Right.
I went and test drove an SLK, probably not a 55. Maybe it wasn't. No. What was the one below? Did they do a
350?
350. Oh, maybe it was a 55. I test drove something from just here, from the West London dealership.
Yeah.
It was a lovely little car.
And what did you buy?
I bought the 330i instead. You're right. I mean, to not be very 2022 about it, it would be the most attractive woman ever if she was driving around in an SLK 55. I'd be like, respect.
And it is cool. For reason that is absolutely useless, it's cool for that reason.
But if it's a guy driving it, you don't think it's very cool. It's very un-22 of us, mate.
Yeah.
We've got it's the world's a changing place. People can, I guess, identify however they want to identify.
No, they can.
Them, they, he, she can,
No problem.
No problem.
And I don't have a problem with that. But unfortunately, there's still stigmas attached to certain cars. Like even like an Audi TT.
You're right.
There's still a stigma attached to it.
There is still a stigma. And I like this because I'm like, cool, big engine, little car. And I've always kind of liked the SLK, but you are right.
No, I like the concept of it. I just don't. It's just like stupid.
Stupid cars can sometimes be the best. So, Aris, we've probably been quite rude to you there. But I like your car, and I'd always like to have a go in it. The one I'd like to have a go in is they did the Black Series, didn't they? They did an SLK 63 Black. or 55 black. 55 black.
55 black. Yeah, that's a rare car.
That's where they started the black series.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd love to have a go.
I've had a couple of them in stock in the past, to be honest.
It's all right to drive a dodgy old gearbox.
No, it's not. No.
Okay, we've really not been very nice. Let's move on. I think we've probably also been politically incorrect. I always get nervous these days. Incorrect, thank you. Wow, you just corrected me on some grammar. Don't choke on your drink as I say that. That was a turn of events. But I do struggle these days with what we are supposed to or not say. If you come to this podcast hoping for us to be very politically correct,
we're so sorry.
We're so sorry. Oh, now this one, right? Come on. Tony's laughing because yes, it is a classic.
Put that SLK back up.
Yeah. For those of you not watching, I've brought up a beautiful 1972 Lotus Elan Sprint. Unfortunately, I don't know the first name of the owner. The email came in as I think CBOAL. Anyway, it's in the gold leaf livery, the iconic Lotus livery from Formula One, and I think this is so cool. I mean, look at the wheels, gold steelies. The pop-up lights, these things are tiny. Little Elan Sprints. Mate, I mean, you could pick one up. That would be the perfect car for Twiggy.
Mate, it looks like a...
shoe.
It looks like a toboggan. And it looks like it should be in that... In that...
water behind it.
The bay. Yeah. Whatever it is. That's in the wrong place.
No, that's a beautiful photo, can I firstly say. A fantastic livery or even a paint job. It's my favourite Lotus colours, the gold leaf colours. If I had an earlier lease, that is the spec I'd go for. Right. Absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, I bet that's fun to drive on a Sunday morning.
I would drive that straight in the port and let it sink. If I was you. Mind you, by the way it looks, it doesn't look like it will sink. It looks like it'll fly.
It looks like a little boat. I think they're beautiful cars, but I always struggle with just how small they are. It's too small for me, that as a car.
Could you get in it?
I don't know, actually. 6'2", owner of this car. I say, unfortunately, you didn't put your name attached to it. Maybe you didn't want to have your name attached to it. You were too nervous what Tony was going to say. How tall are you? And can you easily fit in a Lotus Elan? I'm pretty sure Harry Metcalf has a Lotus Elan, and he's not a short guy.
Okay.
But it's not a car I'd want to spend a lot of time in.
And did you drive it there, or did you push it?
It's got its lights on, so the electrics are working. Come on. That's a stunning photo, mate.
I mean, it's quite a pretty little car, I suppose. It's not a bad photo, but no.
Your worst nightmare. If during our road trip I'd rocked up to Cool Classic Club and we'd wheeled out that, you would have just left, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And I'd said, this is what we're driving, not a 964 Carrera.
I'm not getting in that.
You just would have left.
No chance.
I think it's beautiful. Okay, Chris
God.
Decker. Now, this is a highly modified. We don't tend to include that many modified cars on these shows because we often don't feel like we're well placed to talk about them.
Well, I'm well placed to talk about that. A bit hell.
It's a 750 Li. And do you know why I included this? First of all, I think it looks great. But I feel like old 7 Series are having a bit of a renaissance.
Really?
Yeah, because they kind of represent incredible barge luxury for unbelievable value. How much is one of them? I mean, that's less
$2
than,
grand?
Yeah, less than $5 now. But at some point would have been, what, a 60 grand car?
He's going to be fuming because he's
wheels.
spent a few quid on that car. That's not $2 grand to him. So I apologise if I'm being slightly derogatory, but I can't think of anything worse.
Big engine. Slammed.
Exactly. You've made a luxury car uncomfortable.
He's also made it very good at buying and selling drugs, I think, because that is, I mean, Chris, maybe that's your part-time activity. I mean,
or full-time, it looks like.
Police would stop that vehicle just because they were so convinced that drug-related activities were taking place in or around it.
Yeah.
But
are you from Brooklyn?
I think it's cool. I don't know why. I like this era of older Mercs. We keep talking about the M5 recently. Like, I just think, and didn't James Bond, what was the Tomorrow Never
7
Dies?
Series.
He had a 7 Series, didn't he? All kitted out with the Piers Brosnan
It
era.
won't slam with silly wheels on it, though.
No, but those are good wheels, actually, because they don't look factory, but they look semi-factory. I like this. You don't like this at all?
No.
I think that would have been a bit of you 20 years ago.
No.
Sorry, Chris. Okay, next up, Colin has submitted his 370Z Nismo. Datsun, Nissan. Funny enough, because we were talking last week about the new Z or Z, the 400Z, but it's just called the Z. I always like these Nismo variants. I think they look very cool. How much do they go for in the used market?
20p. About.
That's a lie. Not for the Nismos.
No idea, mate. I mean,
You must know that's your kind of market, isn't it? That's
yeah, I
your
mean,
kind of car.
20 grand, 25 grand, I guess.
That's a cool little performance car for that kind of money. It's a bit different. It's a bit quirky. Get the kind of JDM vibe. It's got nice little yellow features on it. I think that's a cool car. If a friend of mine bought that car, I'd be like, that's just wicked. I'd be all over that. Go on, Colin. Don't give me that look.
I'd rather put pins in my eyes.
No, you wouldn't. That would be fine. What is that? It's like a...
Tell you what it is.
Go on. No, but it's not going to set the world on fire. But would you have that on MX-5?
What? No, it's a different car, mate.
Okay, so would you have that or
Z4.
Okay, go on.
Z4.
Would you?
Yes.
No, that's
New
cooler than a
Z4,
Z4.
one of them.
That's cooler than a Z4. It's got a Nismo badge on it.
Oh, I tell you what, another good one. That
Go
or
on.
a Supra.
That.
Supra. All day long, mate.
Yeah, probably right. Supra.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Supra inherently feels a level above, even if it's not.
It's got a dead engine, that car.
But I want the new one with the 400 horsepower V6.
But that's not the new one.
That is
That's a
the new-
370Z.
No, that is the old
We're not reviewing the Z400. We're reviewing
I
that
keep trying
thing.
to talk about it. This is a 66 plate. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit older now, but it doesn't look older. If you told me that was a 2-year-old car, I'd believe you.
Well, yeah, because they still made them 2 years ago. They haven't changed them. It's like the Nissan GTR. It's still the same.
I like your car, Colin. I would like to have a go in one. I don't know if I'd film one. Would that get views? Maybe not. I don't know. But I like your car, Colin. I really like the yellow bits a lot. Okay, here we go, Tony. A bit more up your street.
An Evo.
Cowan Scott, yeah, he's a regular submitter to Rate My Rides and a regular supporter of the podcast.
How many cars you got?
Oh, way too many, apparently. Because here he is with an Evo, Lamborghini Huracan EVO rear-wheel drive.
I like that car, yeah.
Lovely wheels. Subtle spec for a Lambo. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that colour would be.
Ceramic brake car.
Oh, I don't know.
There's an extra on... could you
Yellow
zoom in?
calipers.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a lovely car.
Yeah.
The Evo, it's a good evolution. I don't know if I like all these new ones, the Technica.
Well, what they've done is that they built the STO. They realised that was fundamentally useless, so they bring out that other car,
which is the touring variant.
Which is is less useless, basically. But that's
good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit
still
dull.
desirable. What, you'd like a brighter colour, would you?
No. The bit of a blunt instrument.
No, it's a rear-wheel drive one. It'll be all snaky at the back.
Good. No, but you know what I mean? It's not like Ferrari to drive. It's a bit dull, mate.
Sometimes, look, I love Ferrari, but sometimes you lean a bit too heavy on the old prancing horse.
Because it's one of my favourite brands.
Yeah, but sometimes you make out like it's the only brand that you like.
Well, basically it is.
That is a nice car.
It's a lovely car.
It's a good bit of kit.
Yeah.
It's a nice spec.
Yeah.
At one point in time, you owned a Huracan. Suddenly, now you just hate them.
For obvious reasons, because I own one. You know what we call that car? That's a good point and squirt car.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Moving on. Now, Damon has submitted 2 VWs. Now, I like anyone who has more than one car in matching specs. I really like anyone that has more than one car from the same brand. I really like anyone who has same brand, same spec, similar vibe.
I wouldn't like to go to the pub with this bloke.
Oh, I would. Damon, let's go to the pub. He's got a Mark 5 R32 Golf. I prefer the Mark 4, but still Mark 5. And an R36 Passat.
So
that's a vibe.
Yeah. So I really like the Golf. I like that.
The Mark 5 R32.
Yes, I like that era.
DSG?
Yeah. And a manual.
You get a manual as well?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
I'm not so interested in the R36. Well, that's quite a rare car. That.
Yeah.
Collectible. And I mean, they look.
It's going to go up in value.
They look clean. I mean, I don't know what it's worth. I know the Golf's, if it's a nice one, it's probably 10 grand, I suppose. The Golf. I
think it's a little bit more than that these days for a nicer one.
All depends.
Mark 4s are
depends on the miles and whatnot.
creeping up.
But yeah, like.
I think it's cool.
Okay.
I think he loves his VWs.
Loves his VWs.
He's got 2 R branded cars from a great era.
Yeah.
Matching specs. I think it's cool. You're right. If you got him at Cars and Coffee, he would start to bore you with why they are appreciating classics, the benefits of them, the fine tuning. It would go on a bit, wouldn't it? You'd be a bit like, okay, Damon.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Great to catch up. I've just seen my friend. I'll be right back. But You know, I think that's cool. As I say, my goal in life is matching spec, matching brand cars like this. I'm all over it. I want a Roma and an 812. No, that's a bit too much. Anyway, let's move on. Gary. Here he is, Gary. And I've included this because I've started to get back into my X3s. He's got the new X3M murdered out, black on black on black on black on black, but I think with a tan or something interior.
It is tan, I can see it.
Yeah, the facelift car is very good looking. All I want to know, Gary, is how's your back? Because famously, the pre-facelift version had one of the harshest rides, I could say, in the world.
Of any car.
Yeah, of any car.
I agree.
Full stop. And a lot of people often said prior to me getting the RS6, oh, just go and get an X3M. And I was always like, no. Because it was just this brittle and brutal ride.
I agree, mate.
And I want to know if they've done anything about that. So, Gary, how are you getting on? Because if they had worked that out, what a car.
Yeah.
You want what?
No. I completely agree, mate. It's a good car. The problem is like when that car first come out, there was no new shape M3. There now is, which drives down the road loads better. That's still loads of money. And what I don't understand is why that is so much more uncomfortable than the new shape M3, which is basically
Weird,
just a jacked up M3, basically.
But that's why I'm wondering whether they've put in any of that cleverer suspension or cleverer setup in the new 3 Series into this.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let us know, Gary. I think Gary will defend that car for his life, I get the feeling, but maybe he'll be honest and say, yeah, actually, I've been to the chiropractor a few times. Very cool, but...
That or Macan GTS.
Oh, see, okay, that or Macan GTS, but X3, facelift X3 M40i in green and tan, hello, or Macan S X3 M40i.
Fair enough.
That'd be my vibe. But this will get superseded, of course, as soon as M3 Touring finally turns up. Still waiting on that.
Yeah. I would think so, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Here is Mr. Jet Collector.
Is it?
Again, someone I mentioned last week. Big supporter of the podcast, so thank you, Mr. Jet Collector, who has submitted, quite hilariously, his Bugatti Chiron and his Porsche Taycan. So, I mean, he is really like in that brand because, of course, we now know Bugatti, Rimac, Porsche, this kind of big conglomerate of ownership. It's all a bit confusing. A lot of electric products coming from that family. And we're getting an insight to it here. He's got the Taycan, so he's dipping his toe in that water. It's not the Sport or Cross Turismo, but I'll forgive you for that. Because he's got a Chiron. It's a Chiron.
Well, he's obviously a petrol head, a big petrol head. If you've got a Chiron, you are a petrol head or a flash bastard or both. But do you feel slightly guilty that you're driving it and that's why you bought the Taycan? As a bit of an offset?
I would have a Taycan.
Either or.
Every day of the week if the infrastructure was ready. I love the Taycan.
Yeah, I do as well. But you need a few more miles in it as well. It needs to do more than 200 miles.
It could do 200 miles if you could recharge in 15 minutes. It wouldn't matter. That's, for me, no problem because a thirsty... Well, my 360 probably does 200 miles. Okay, it's not a long range, but if it recharges in 15 minutes, I'm fine. I can do that.
But I mean, it recharges into 80% in 20 minutes, mate. So you need to recharge in 5 minutes.
No, well... It recharges in 20 minutes if you get maximum charge output from a working charger that you can turn up and plug into straight away.
It's got to be a high-powered one.
Which we know in the UK, finding a high-powered charger that's running at maximum output, that doesn't have a queue and that is working is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think as a 2-car garage, and I get... If that's your 2... I was going to say...
He's got more than 2 cars.
I doubt many Bugatti owners just have 2 cars.
No chance.
If you do, that is unbelievable. Tell me you daily it, and Jet Collector, I will get down on one knee and propose. Sorry, Vicky, you're out. Because if you're dailying a Chiron or using it 6 days out of the week, no, 5 days out of the week, new best friend. Hero, absolute legend.
Well, what's the Taycan for then? Was he just look at that?
Yeah. I don't know. But very cool.
Well,
very
you
cool.
got that the wrong way round. He's dailying that Taycan. He probably works down the road. If he goes,
yeah, and takes the Bugatti for special occasions. Perfect, done.
Yeah,
ultimate, dreamy.
But he's bought other cars as well, mate.
I'm sure he does.
He 100%. He'd have a nice SUV. He's probably got a couple of Ferraris. There'll be a Lamborghini in there somewhere. There'll be another couple of Porsches.
Next time we do this, Mr. Jet Collector, why don't you submit? I get the feeling by the name and the handle that maybe he's got planes. maybe those are the cars, and maybe he's a jet collector, as in he collects jets.
Right. So he's bought a car which goes like one.
Basically. Okay, so Graham has submitted a beautiful 1993 Alfa Romeo Spider. Now, I adore this because I'd driven the older one. So I drove a 1970s or maybe a 80s Alfa Spider. Very nice, but pile of crap.
Beautiful.
Slightly more modern. Still fundamentally going to fall apart. Just got. I would like to do. You know what we should do one day? We should do a road trip around like Lake Como in this kind of car. You know, of an era, a mid-90s, convertible, beautiful. I wonder what else you could get. An SL, a Merc SL, R129, whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, just like, that would be a very nice car to potter around in.
So, I love that car because of where the photo's taken.
Agreed.
And how I can imagine that makes you feel driving in that area. If you'd taken a picture of that car in the UK outside an industrial unit, I would have gone in on you. But for the very reason of where it's been taken, and that does look like Lake Como behind, that's good enough for me.
Does that photo not make you want to go up to that car, get it and drive?
I thought she was going to say, does that photo not make you want to drive it in the lake?
For those of you that aren't watching, the car is parked on a nice gravel driveway.
Yeah.
To the side of it, a beautiful kind of almost historic looking house or building with some sort of wooden marks.
Might be a restaurant.
It could be a restaurant or a hotel right by a lake. It looks like it must be Europe somewhere. There's some lovely foliage. The sky is clear blue. The roof is down. You see a bit of the red paint popping through the tree light. I mean, yeah, I just want to get in and drive.
Yeah. I don't know how far you're going to be able to drive.
Might not turn on.
No.
But yeah, I can almost smell the scene. So yeah, well done, Graham. You've done a good job there at presenting that car to us perfectly. And yeah, I still would like. I don't want to have to drive from the UK to that lake. I don't want
in that car.
No, so all I want to do is fly in to stay at a really nice hotel and pooter around nice restaurants and things like that in that kind of car.
You can't drive from the UK to Lake Como in that car. You won't make it.
No, you could.
No, you won't get there. You'll break.
You want to bet on that? We're shaking on it. I will one day, at some point, add this, a bit like Greg James, add this to the list of things that maybe will never happen. I will one day do a trip from London to Lake Como in a really crappy old car that you wouldn't expect to make it.
Well, you've done it in your car.
I set you up for that one. I walked into that one. Greg has submitted his 2002 996 Turbo. It looks like in GT Silver. I have been long singing songs about 996 turbos, and actually the other day in the park, a Turbo S came past me, 996 Turbo S. They're very subtle looking cars, the 996 turbos, not like the modern ones, the big wide, big shouty things. And obviously you get the slightly more reliable or uprated engine. Pretty looking things, I think, growing into themselves. I know you hate the 996. It's an interesting angle, Greg, that you've sent. He's kind of really on the floor looking up at the butt of the car. It almost looks like a toy. Clearly you're a fan of the rear end of that
Or he's
thing.
looking at his rear main oil seal.
Or he's looking at his rear main oil seal, just checking any drips. Any drips? But yeah, no, I mean, I think they're cool. Extended rear spoiler up. I personally don't think if you have a extendable rear spoiler, you should ever park with it up.
Yeah.
I think let it deploy itself.
Let it go back down, boy.
That's my own, but that's a very personal thing. But
it's quite a clean spec, that car.
Beautiful spec, silver wheels, silver
not beautiful, paint. Just clean. It's not beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's a 996.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No. Where's your old one?
You know what? I started thinking about this the other day. I would have another one. I would have another one. I would.
Why don't you try and buy the one you sold? Because that's a few
I can't. I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's gone up again.
Oh, mate, they're flying. I think there's one at JZM for like 45.
Unbelievable.
They're flying, mate. I got mine too soon.
Oh! We know this one.
So Harry.
Hello, Harry.
Harry has... Well, this is a small world, isn't it? If you watch the main channel, which hopefully you all do, you would have seen that a few weeks ago, Tony and I went to visit Jasper, the incredible man, sort of keeping Spiker alive or bringing Spiker back to life. Spiker,
lunatic,
but genius. Spiker, of course, the Dutch supercar / sports car company. It's had a very checkered past and kind of went bankrupt back in the mid 2010s. But lots of the cars are out there, around 150, did we say, around the world? And Jasper's been doing parts and helping with servicing and all these things, and he's now kind of trying to push the brand even further forward. And when we went to visit him, there was an incredibly rare double 12S, basically the homologation Le Mans car, sitting pretty in his sort of private garage. And it was like the one that I pointed out, saying, I think that's my favourite. Turns out the owner of that car, Harry, is a listener to this podcast and has submitted it. Brilliant. My ride. What an absolute hero. Harry, can I drive that thing, please? Oh, I'm just going straight in. Please, can I drive it for a video? Because that must be so cool. Firstly, congrats on that being your car. What a thing. But he said it's coming to the UK. I really would love to make... Oh, I'm getting so excited. I had a hiccup.
You have an heart attack.
I just think it's so cool. And you know what? We love you, our audience. You're an incredible audience, and you continue to amaze us. From Bugatti Chirons to Alfa Spiders to double 12 Spikers. You have some crazy
Golf
cars.
R32s.
And Passat R36s. Yeah. Let's not forget.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, very cool, that thing, and even better that we've actually seen it in the flesh. Do you, how do you feel about Spiker a few weeks down the line? If you saw one now, would you go, cool? Or
I just know a little bit more about the brand. I don't want one, by the way.
No,
but I just it's made me look at them in a slightly different light.
Yeah, I'm glad. I think this is the thing with you, Tony. Sometimes is you need a little bit of education sometimes to see the light. Often you are which I love about you. You are true to your initial instincts, you know what I mean? You're rock solid. What you believe in is what you believe in. What you think is what you think.
Yeah.
But sometimes it comes from a place of lack of knowledge or understanding.
I know what I'm talking about, basically.
Yeah, but you will still be so just absolutely rock solid in that thought. Whereas, here we go, Spiker's proven it's a car that prior to us meeting Jasper, you would have torn apart. So it was a load of crap, was pointless, was absolute kit car piece of junk.
So you told me not to say that. No, he didn't really.
But now you're like, I've learned a bit. I get it. I appreciate it a bit more, don't you see?
Yeah.
So, you know.
No. Yeah.
I said you can't call it a kit car because it's not a kit car.
Yeah.
You can't buy
I just don't want one, mate. But I honestly appreciate them.
That's fine. I don't want... I'm not going to say that because, anyway. There's cars that I don't want, but I can appreciate. Now this is interesting. Jivith? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name.
What is that?
That's an M6 Gran Coupe manual.
Well, I had one of them.
Manual?
No.
I was going to say, mate, because only 106 manuals in the world.
Not in this country.
In the world.
No, but there wasn't any in this country, weren't it?
They didn't offer it.
No.
A bit like, what else recently have they not offered with the manual? Can you get the M3 now with the manual? I think you can now, can't you? Originally you couldn't.
Not sure. Who cares? No. I mean, I had one of them cars back in the day when they come out. And if you... Well, it's used now, so unless you bought it new. But if it's 106, the thing is, like I said before, quite often I've said this, rare isn't always good. Sometimes it's good. In that case, it's not good.
Well, I'm going to fight you on this.
Here we go.
Because is that in America? It could be in America. It doesn't make me know. He's not got a front plate on, which is why I'm thinking it's America. But I don't.
It's not UK.
I don't see the side repeaters. Yeah. Anyway, let's assume it's America. It could be anywhere in the world.
It's left-hand drive.
Is it?
Zoom in.
He's got big tints on the front, so again, suggests America. Yeah, left-hand drive.
Yeah.
Where are the side repeaters? Okay, well, anyway, we're going to make that assumption.
Yeah.
That goes up against weird, wacky American cars that we don't know about, like the Cadillac ATS-V and... this
SRT and all that crap.
Yeah, sort of, weird, big American hunks of junk.
Yeah.
Now, I think that would be one of the I don't know. I kind of appreciate it. Would I want it? No, but I don't think that's how we should judge these cars. Could it be a bit too much for a manual? Like, is there a bit too much going on? Is the car a bit too heavy? Potentially, but I kind of disagree. It depends how you're using it.
It's 550 horsepower, mate. Turbocharged car. As a manual. As a GT, I mean, it kind of contradicts itself slightly. It's a manual 550 horsepower, rear-wheel drive GT car.
Four-door.
Four-door.
It's going to weigh about 6 tons, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the way... I like it. Maybe it is a no.
It's a no.
I sort of like half the idea of it. If you just submitted it without saying manual, would I have skipped it? Probably. So I've only included it because it's kind of interesting it's in a manual. I think it's cool. Do you know why? Because you can go to a car show in that and people are like, oh, bore off, dad. But then you'd go, manual, bro. And everyone would go, oh, no way.
Everyone would go, who cares?
Okay, next up we have got Jonathan with, I mean, there's an extreme way of living life and then there's this way.
Cool, that is.
He's got an Ariel Atom 3
yeah,
and a 991.2 GT3.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, you do not care about the health of your back at all.
No.
You are going to be seeing a chiropractor. I mean, I don't know what age you are, Jonathan, but you've got about a year until you cannot walk.
GT3's all right, mate. GT3's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right, though. I mean, if it's got the buckets.
He doesn't daily them cars. But when I had my GT3.
What if he did, though? What if he did?
Well, if you daily the Atom.
No, I think it's going to be the other way around, though.
But if he did, he's my hero.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get engaged to Mr. Chiron, and you can get engaged to Mr. Atom.
Hold on a minute, I'll see what it looks like first. Yeah. I'm not saying yes until I see what you look like.
Fair enough. He'll have a helmet on in the Atom, so you'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, those are toys, aren't they?
They're toys, mate, yeah.
They're toys, and pretty cool toys. Have you ever driven an Ariel?
No.
No. I've driven a BAC Mono, and that was pretty mega.
Yeah.
I bet an Ariel Atom's a ton of fun.
Yeah,
just a big go-kart, isn't it?
Pretty much.
But I wonder how much fun it would be on the road. As in, like, would it be a bit too good? You know what I mean?
Terrifying.
Because sometimes if the cars are that light and that pointy and that exposed, a bit like with a Caterham, on the public roads, I sort of was a bit like, well, the roads are boring now. Like, I can't find a road twisty enough, fast enough, exhilarating enough for this Caterham. You know, that's where tracks are great when you go proper little handling track and you can really thrash the thing around. I think with an Atom, after a while, you'd be like, I need more. Take me to the Nürburgring.
I think that's a motorbike on two wheels, mate. That is a full-on 4 wheels. That's a death trap.
I think it's a death trap.
Yeah.
I think it's a death trap.
Because it's like crash, the end.
Well, yes, you are immediately dead.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's one of those, it would implore you to be more and more psychotic. That's what I mean. Like, you'd be like, I'm going to go out for a nice Sunday drive in the Atom. And after 3 turns, you'd be like,
yeah.
So, Jonathan, look after yourself.
Be careful, boy.
Be careful. Joseph has submitted the new shape Ford Bronco with some interesting spec choices, which includes bright white Steelies and a white front grille. He looks like one of those influencers that's doing an ad for teeth whitening campaigns. Do you know what I mean? When you look at the photos, like, wow, that's some white teeth. I was intrigued by this car until I found out how big it is.
What's the matter with it?
Dude, it is huge. I thought it was Defender size or maybe a tiny bit bigger than Defender. It's like F-150 plus. Like it's a massive car.
Where do they sell it?
America.
Well, then what's the problem then?
Totally appropriate. But I was like, it would be a cool, quirky thing to have here as a run-around daily cool thing. But it's just massive. It's
no,
too big.
it's not for here.
No, it's not for here. But
no.
Okay.
It's fine. Mate, that's fine. That's cool, that car.
You like that?
Yes, it's fine.
If we were doing a road trip to America, would you get one?
What, if we were in America?
Would you rent one to go around Utah in?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I think they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just still be too big. I don't know.
Well, not in America, mate. It's too big here.
But no,
it's not sold here.
But even still, just because you're in America doesn't mean you need to get something big.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Look at the size of people in America.
Yeah, but you're not
big.
You're not the size of a person in America.
No.
What I'm saying is just because you go there doesn't mean I'm going to rent the biggest vehicle I can just because I'm in America.
Well, you go to America and you eat in America. You go to the biggest burger shop because that's what America is. Everything is big.
Super size.
Super size. The car's the same. Look at the roads. They're like 12 carriages.
I remember during Drive the World I went to, and this is going to upset a lot of Americans, the greatest driving road in America, the Tail of the Dragon. So treacherous, it has the name of a dragon. And it's the tail, it's the scary bit. And it's like 150 turns in 3 miles. Like, oh my God, the switchbacks. It's not switchbacks, by the way. And it was just an Alps road. Like, it was just like...
Yeah, it's what we have in Europe.
You know, it's so narrow. It's not.
No.
It's not narrow. It's really wide. And like, we left and there was like a car ended up on its roof. A GT3 had ended up on its roof. And I was like, how have you done that? It's a different driving. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good road. It is good. If we were in Europe, I'd be like, that was a wicked road. It's a bit too constant. You're actually going to be, I think a hot hatch is going to be best bet there.
Well, Americans can't go around corners, can they? Only go straight.
It's just, I think it's so unusual in America for the constant corners, some on and off camber, and it being slightly narrower. Yeah. It's a UK road width is what it is. Yeah. Actually, it's no, because B roads here have no markings. You've got to stop if there's a car coming your way. And a lot of those Alps roads are the same. This is 2 lanes. I mean, clear. So it's a wide road compared to Europe. I think if you're in America, Tail of the Dragon is like, wow. If you're from Europe and you do a lot of mountainous Pyrenees, Alps, any kind of mountainous driving.
Who cares?
I think you're just going to go, it's a good road. It's not the best road.
Fine.
I actually prefer, personally, canyon roads in West Coast America, California. Those are my favorite driving roads in America.
Fair enough.
So I'm really sorry because I know Tail of the Dragon has like a cult status. It's a bit like the Nürburgring. They all get them like Tail of the Dragon tattooed on them. And
do they?
I've done the dragon. I did the dragon in reverse, upside down.
I wouldn't boast about that.
I drifted the dragon. Like they love it, mate. They love it. And there's people's businesses that are like they're photographers that are on the corners of certain. So they park on the corners. What am I saying? On the corners of the corners. On the side, thank you, on the side of certain corners. And their business is taking photos, so you can go online afterwards and find me and my Miata on the dragon.
Like the Nürburgring.
Yeah, literally like that. It's America's Nürburgring. That's what it is. So I've just lost a whole lot of American subscribers. You don't know how to drive the dragon, bro. Laurent has submitted Morgan 3-wheeler.
I know what he's done.
What's he done?
Got to put another wheel on it.
Obvious thing to say. Now, I love a Morgan. I'm a Morgan fan. I would actually have a Morgan. I would genuinely have a Morgan. If I had a collection of 100 cars, I'd have a Morgan.
You know what that car is, don't you? It's a 3-wheel Spkyer.
No, it's not. Yeah. No. I think the newer one has a lot of intricate details and great engineering. This is Morgan's original car. This is a car they've been building since, I'm going to say 1500s, but it's not. It's obviously, I think it's late 1800s, the 3-wheeler, or maybe early 1900s. It's a very old design now. So I don't think Spkyer is genuine, state-of-the-art engineering and genius in ingenuity.
Okay, fine. But it's got that thingy leather.
It's green and tan. Is that what
no. The
what?
Cross-stitch.
Cross-stitch leather. That's
why I said Spkyer.
Oh. What I was going to say is I'm a big Morgan fan. 3-wheeler doesn't do a lot for me.
No.
I know.
Do a lot for anyone. It's got 3 wheels.
Some people love it, and it's their heritage. It's like where it all began for them, and it's a unique driving experience, but I'm a bit like, meh.
You got to put a hat on every time you drive it for a start.
Well, you got to do that in a lot of cars.
What cars with roofs, you mean?
Well, no, but not all cars have roofs, mate. Convertibles.
But convertible, you can put the roof up. I mean, it has not got a roof.
No, fine, but like there was lots of. I'm not going to attack it for not having a roof.
Has it got a windscreen?
Of speedsters that, it's got 3 wheels. That's my issue. And I know it's going to be. There's a lot of. I know it'll be fun to drive, but I just see it as a teeny bit gimmicky. I think the new one looks fascinating, but I'd lean towards the Morgan 4-wheel products. That's very cool, but
don't lean on it, mate. Fall over.
Yeah, but it's obviously got the third wheels at the back. So
I know where the wheel is.
Fine.
I can see 2.
Lewis Newson. Oh, I've just given your surname away. I think you'll be all right with this, Lewis, because I think you're going to be proud of your car. It is a Fiesta ST mount tune.
Yeah,
beautiful,
good car,
nice spec. Going to have some power. Lovely, good location again.
Much more power than the old, about 25 horsepower. But
that'll do though.
Yeah.
3-door.
Yeah.
It's a lovely bit of kit.
Yep.
Okay, Marco with the Aventador. Okay. He's getting an Aventador and an Exige. I mean, you have a penchant for
crap.
I mean, you are really coming out and saying, the Exige I adore, but Tony hates. But like you're a certain person if you pick an Exige. Like you're on a mission.
You need recapturing very quickly.
Evora was always my choice of the previous 3, and then the Aventador. I mean, it's kind of cool.
I mean, you've gone from sort of a driver's car,
to a not
driver's car.
And if you can't work out which ones we're talking about there, then
go home.
Yeah. Because the Exige is so focused and for the drivers, and beautiful and perfectly poised and positioned and really hands-on. And in the Aventador, you're there for the ride. Like you're not part of that driving experience at all. Just hold on.
You're just there for twat laps for London, basically.
But it's, I mean, I'm sure we spoke about this on the podcast recently. It's just still such an incredible poster car, the Aventador. So I don't knock you for having one.
I'm still on the podcast now.
Yeah, no, I know we are. But I mean, regularly.
Like we're on your main channel.
No. You wish. You ain't coming back on there for a while. But the Aventador, so, you know, I sort of, I don't bash anyone for getting an Aventador, but you're not getting it to drive it. So maybe that's why he's got the Exige. Maybe that's what he's done. Aventador's the poster car. I've always wanted one. A super cool car. I got an Aventador. Amazing. But we all know it's crap to drive, so I'm going to buy the ultimate driver's car, an Exige. Maybe that's what he's done.
It's not the ultimate driver's car, is it, mate?
It's one of them.
Really?
Yeah, an Exige. Beautiful driver's car.
I'd rather an MX-5.
No, but that's so much more powerful and poised and dialed in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's a bit more focused, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mark has submitted his, I'm assuming, shark blue Porsche 992 GT3. Mark, is that a manual or a PDK? Because that's the only thing I care about these days.
If it's a PDK, Mark, can you DM me? Because I'd quite like to buy that car.
No, you would not.
I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
How much would you pay for a 992 GT3?
Not £250,000.
Yeah, but how much would you pay? It's about, so they keep changing the prices. Because I've been on the configurator looking at some Porsche stuff. More on that soon. And I've been noticing GT3s and all the Porsches have been just creeping up value-wise. Yeah. So I reckon that's got ceramics. Yeah. That's got ceramics, and I don't know the rest, but I reckon that's a 140 car list.
No. Mate. It's more than that, mate.
Depends when you got it, though. If that's an earlier car.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Nowadays, that's a 150, 155.
Yeah.
But I think that's a 140, 145 list. Maybe. Anyway,
when he got it.
Let's assume it's a 150. Let's call it a 150 car to be kind to Mark, or maybe undersell his car. How much would you pay for that
I would like to give him £30,000 over.
You'd pay 180.
I'll write you a cheque right now.
£30,000 doesn't matter his list price. You'd pay him 30k over.
Pay him 30 grand over list.
Do it, Mark, just so that I can hang out in that GT3. Very cool. I just want to know if it's a manual or PDK, because I was having this conversation with some friends last night about manual versus PDK on GT3s. They've both got cars coming. One's got a wing car, one's got a touring car. I know Chris Harris has recently picked up his touring, which I'm pretty sure is manual. There's all this debate, and there's this kind of like, oh, well, you shouldn't feel the pressure of whether you should only drive, true drivers buy a manual. If you want the PDK, get the PDK. But does the car suit PDK or manual better? I don't know, because I've driven manual for a week and I only drove PDK for 30 minutes. I preferred the manual. But maybe if you spent more time with it, the PDK would be better. I
don't want it if it's a manual, Mark. only get involved if it's a PDK.
Do you care about the colour? You like the shark blue, huh?
That's like, all right. Don't really care. Still a GT3.
Yeah. Matt, funnily enough, with a Supra. We were speaking about Supras earlier. A yellow Supra. Very nice.
It's like an old BT van.
Looks like an old BT van with a yellow.
Well, if they were white, then it wouldn't look like one, would it?
Or maybe the vans look like Supras. Or the Supras look like a van. It's a niche UK reference. I would have said yellow pages.
No. Well, that's a bright yellow, mate. Look at the old BT vans. They were that...
From what era?
Like 80s, 90s.
I wasn't born, mate.
Well, you was?
89.
Right. So that's 80s.
Matthew with... Okay, this is going to blow your mind. Are you sitting down? It's a Boxster.
I can see.
Modified by Neinmeister.
Is that a German company?
Yeah, well, yes.
It's a German
You
car.
can only say it right if you go, Neinmeister. You can probably see it on there.
I can't see it.
He has spent, or the car, someone spent 45,000, I don't know if it was pounds or euros.
Who cares?
On upgrades on that car.
What's he done?
I mean, everything. Shall I pull up the email?
No.
Come on, I'm going to pull up the email. You keep looking at it and discussing.
What do you mean keep looking at it? I can't look at anything else.
Hold on a sec.
Oh my God. I mean, I was going to be half nice about that car, but when you've said 45,000.
44. ... That's the first gen.
Yeah.
Look at it. I mean, that's just... Oh, God, come on.
I mean, a first gen Boxster, okay, got some miles on it, but they're 4 or 5 grand, mate.
I mean, it's just...
he's just literally just thrown away 45 grand.
Here we go. Right. £45,000. £45,000! Exterior. The Porsche 2003 facelift lights, front, rear and side indicators. Soft top replaced with upgraded fabric and glass heated rear screen. Factory hard top in matching colour with storage bag. Engine. Schrick fast road camshafts, Schrick valve springs and titanium retainers, Porsche 997 intake manifold and injectors, Porsche GT3 throttle body, IPD plenum chamber and silicon pipework, Elan Engineering deep sump valve, Elan Engineering spin-on filter adapter, Porsche X51 oil baffle tray, Wayne Schofield Chip Wizards custom remap, spin-on oil filter, Tarrant Engineering engine mounts, Porsche Cayman 987 front engine mount, Car Graphic stainless steel exhaust manifold, Car Graphic stainless 200 cell sports cats, Car Graphic stainless rear sports silencer with twin tailpipe. Performance, 289 horsepower, 250 pound-foot of torque. He's done more work to the oh my God, it goes on. It goes on. Transmission, standard 6-speed Porsche boxer transmission with a Carbonetics LSD white, something with this thing. Suspension, 996 GT3 front wheel carriers. You bored?
No, mate, listen. I'd like to retract a previous statement. I would really like to go out for a drink with the bloke who owned the Volkswagens instead of this bloke. Because
the R32 and the R36?
Yeah, I'm coming out, we'll go out for a drink. You can talk to me all day and all night about your Volkswagens. I won't go to sleep. I'll listen if it means I haven't got to meet this bloke.
No. Matthew, I will happily meet you. I'm sure you're a lovely guy. All I will say is when we announced doing Rate My Rides, we said all we need is the photo and the name or the make and the model of the car. The more you put in the body of the email, the more likely you are that Tony's going to rip you apart. And that's just come true. You set yourself up for that. Because if you just submitted it, we've gone, oh wow, that's cool, boxster. But I'm amazed by what's been done to that car. And if you've done it yourself and you've spent that money yourself, wow. Passion project. But you are everything Tony hates about petrol heads.
Go and book yourself in, mate.
Book yourself in where?
Priory.
To a mental health institute. By the way, mental health is not something we should be joking about again.
We're not joking.
No. Well, okay. Moving on. Politically incorrect. Matthew, I mean, yes. As I say, I'm impressed, but I do worry that maybe that's your opening line. Like, it would be hard to sum that up quickly.
Matthew, you have royally done yourself in. Like Sam said, you should have just submitted the car where they've gone, yeah, it's cool.
Moved on. Michael with a beautiful 996 GT3 in silver. I think I just included that because I'm a bit into my 996s again. Oh no, because I thought it had a red interior, but it's not. There's another car behind it. That's why I included it. But 996 GT3s are starting to come on strong a little bit, and yeah, it's a nice bit of kit. Nick, oh mate, you know what that is?
Well, it's not a 16M.
No, of course not.
Which is what you tried to make it look like.
No, it's not. It's a 360, mate.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Is it a manual?
No.
But he's tried to make it look like a 16M with that silly stripe down it. No, that's not even a Ferrari. That's a kit car. That is, honestly, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. That is an MR2.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
Listeners, Nick has submitted what looks like, at first glances and what Tony thought, a 360 Spider, Ferrari 360 Spider in the classic Ferrari red with a kind of Challenge Stradale type stripe and some slightly dodgy wheels. At a glance, you're like, oh, okay, it's just a bit of a ratty looking 360 Spider. That's because it's not. It's a Toyota MR2. Now, I've got to be honest, Nick, you've sent this to the wrong people.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was ever a part of me. If it didn't have Ferrari badges...
No, mate.
Even
no.
There's basically no excuses.
It was a thing in the early 2000s to do this to these cars, right? But what this shouts out, mate, this literally shouts out, I'm going to build a kit car that looks like a Ferrari because I haven't worked hard enough.
Well, okay, to stop you from potentially sounding a little bit too much like Molly May.
Molly May, who's that?
She's a celeb who went in saying, we've all got the same 24 hours in the day, like, just do some more work. Like, stop complaining and just, we've all got 24 hours in our day. It's not all about working hard enough, like circumstances are circumstances, but I slightly agree. It's a bit like having a fake Richard Mille on your wrist or a fake Louis Vuitton jacket or, you know, it's fake. It's not real. you're pretending it's something that it's not, when actually an MR2 is its own thing in its own right.
An MR2, I would have been nicer about an MR2.
Yeah.
Especially if that's based on the old MR2, which was a pretty... I would like to bet that might be based on like the 1990s car, not the square cheese one, the one after.
Because if this was a 360 that he'd bolted all the Challenge Stradale parts on, I'd have been like, all right, like, okay. Like,
I still would have gone on in
I
on
still
it.
would have been a bit like,
Yeah.
But it's worse than that.
It's terrible.
It's not a Ferrari, mate. You can't put Ferrari badges on a car. It's not. And I'm sure you're not. Are you pretending that you... I don't know what the motivation... We're being horrible, and that's not very fair, because maybe you love it, and maybe it's semi-ironic you've done it, and...
No. And do you know what? All jokes aside, as well, we've said this before, if you love that car, then that's fair enough. Like, no problem at all. If that makes you feel special and that gives you the fizz, then no problem.
Well said.
But I could bring my sister into this. My sister, as we were growing up, would rather have gone to Primark and spent £20 in there and got loads and loads of clothes, whereas I would rather have gone to a better shop and bought one garment. That's that car compared to a Ferrari.
No, but the difference with that is going to the guy on the street corner who's selling the fake handbags.
Yeah, it's going to the sweet shop in the high street that sells the fake handbags under the table.
Yeah, around the back, yeah. Any special sweets this
Not
week?
for me, that car.
Not for me, but...
No. Well done, though.
Well done for submitting it. You were brave.
Oh, I like that.
Nick has submitted an F-150 Raptor. It's just cool. Again, here's a trick for all of you. Next time we do a Rate My Rides, submit a cool photo. Always gets a nice little shout out.
That is mega, that thing.
That over a Bronco every day of the week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at it. It's just mean.
I would actually, mate, I would love to drive one of them across America.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, it really is.
That's up like through Wyoming and stuff.
And do you know what? Like when you see something like that and when you see that picture and whatnot, you understand why it's probably the best selling car in the world. You know what I mean?
It's cool. Got presents. Like they've just nailed it.
Yeah.
Patrick with a beautiful...
That's not the best-selling car in the world.
1996. It was at one point. It was very popular.
Was it?
The Mercedes SL in the late 90s.
In the Cotswolds?
No, mate. At one point, prior to there being endless competition, you've got to admit, Merc SLs of this era were a status symbol, were a desirable car.
You're right.
Eat your words, mate. And they're coming back on song.
And I'll tell you another thing. Car dealers back in then, they loved an SL.
Yeah.
All the old car dealers, back then, they all used to run around with their old paper glasses guidebooks, and they all used to go to the auction, and they'd all rock up in them old SLs.
There you go. I think the shape is working now. The boxy shape is coming on song. You've got different engines, all very nice. SL500 is probably the pick, but I think most people are going with the 320s, I guess, or the more affordable. There was the 600 as well, which is the V12. But yeah, I think it's coming back on song. I think this is going to be a success story for the next few years. I mean, God, I think the world's going through a bit of a shitter the next few years. But if you're looking for something to park your money in over the summer and have a bit of a nice time, just waft. It's a waft-mobile. I think you could be all right.
That is a better built car than the shape after that.
Interesting. With
the shape
after,
that was like
a piece of poo.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul. I did say that there were some supercars today with a 765 LT.
Fair play. I mean,
not seen many of those on the road yet.
No, well, there's not many of them. Nice. So they haven't made them.
No, but they're still trading very high. Someone's still winning a bet. Lovely spec, lovely car. I liked that thing when I drove it. It's psychotic. Mm-hmm. Absolutely insane. Yeah. And you know what? I slagged off somebody earlier, the 996 man, for having his wing up stationary, but actually looks quite cool there on the LT.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like McLaren at all, and I wouldn't buy one, but you have to appreciate what that car can do. You know, it would
eat a Pista alive.
It is a real proper bit of kit.
Very cool. We're rushing through. I don't really know why, but we just are. Robert with a beautiful 550 Ferrari. I used to always lean towards 575s. I don't know why.
No, you've lost me.
Really, this era?
I'm not interested.
Really?
No.
Oh, that surprises me. I think. Actually, it doesn't because it's very much the gentleman era of the Grand Tour Ferrari. 515, 575. It's a very nice car to drive. The 575 does have a bit of edge to it. You wouldn't like it. You're right. They're not your cars at all.
No.
I think I would have one as a sort of as an F-type replacement type thing. But I just never really liked the 550 because it was too subdued for me. 575 just had a bit more edge. But I'm starting to appreciate them a bit more. There's been some nice ones knocking around. But the one to have is the one that Max Siege on Instagram. He has the manual 575.
That's a Super America one.
No. Coupe. Super America, I don't really like that folding glass the way it... 550 Barchetta. Mate, 550 Barchetta. That is a car I would love to own.
Okay.
Genuinely proper big. Ryan, very nice Paul Smith Mini.
I like that.
Very nice. I saw a convoy of 3 of the old school Minis on the A3 the other day. They are cool, aren't they? Fun little bits of kit.
Yeah.
And
it's an icon, mate.
Your mate's son, I'm going to leave it at that. Dan, doesn't Dan have a Monte Carlo version or something? Doesn't he have a black with a red roof? Doesn't he have a special variant?
Yeah, I think they've still got it. I'm pretty sure they've still got it. That was always very
cool. The minute they launched that, I was like, oh, that's a cool little thing.
Yeah.
It's fun bits of kit. I don't really know where you'd go in it and what you do with it, but...
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's proper icon, mate.
Proper icon, exactly. The proper collectible icon. And then finally, to draw a line under it.
From one icon to not another.
Well, actually, I'm going to fight you on this a little bit. Sangar has introduced us to his Lamborghini Diablo.
Yeah.
2-wheel drive.
Oh. And it's all in one piece?
All in one piece, supposedly. Doors up. Now
I think it's crashed on the other side.
It's got an oil leak under it. I have a friend whose father owns one of these, and he let one of our mutual friends drive it, and our mutual friend lost his nut. And actually, he's like the second or third person I know who's driven that particular car and just is like, oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. You lie down driving. It's like Formula One style driving position. And everyone I know who's driven a Diablo, obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah. I've never had the chance. I think they're cool. Over Countach, for me, I would have a Diablo on looks alone over a Countach or a Murcielago.
Fair enough.
And they're cool things. That's a nice spec, big old wing. I bet it's hair raising that as an experience.
Yeah.
And they're kind of they're brutal. When I drove Countach, you had to really pick it up by the scruff of its neck. It's a hard car to drive.
No power steering, is it?
Yeah, no power steering.
Nothing.
You've got to really rev it out and thrash it. It kind of wants to be abused, which is quite cool.
But I bet the brakes don't work.
No, I'm sure they don't. But anyway. No, it's not all show, no go, but it's a lot of show and some go.
No go.
No, I think it's got some go. I think that's a cool thing.
Oh, it's got some go, no stop.
No stop, there you go. Well done, you hit the nail on the head. Well, anyway, that is where we're going to have to draw a line for today's Rate Your Rides. As I say, there were so many other submissions, so I'm so sorry for all of you that we missed. We will do another one of these at some point, and we have all the ones coming up for the Behind the Glass live events. We will, at some point this year, be trying to do a few more of those. Definitely one more towards Christmas, and maybe another one at some point this year. So keep your eyes peeled on the Seen Through Glass website. Some very exciting adventures taking place right now and happening in the weeks ahead over on the main channel. So make sure you're subscribed and you've got notifications on for there. If you want to follow Tony, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seen Through Glass on most social media platforms, and we'll be back with you very soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.